She ain't joyful no more. It's like she looked angry, unhappy, miserable, spiteful, scornful. And did I say angry already? You've got to take responsible for your administration. Thank you. And then, but this is the thing where when you lack introspection and you don't actually think about the words that are coming out of your mouth before they come out of your mouth. She had just spent the better part of the first half of that interview, or at least the first portion of that interview, when Bret Baier was grilling her on illegal immigrants killing Americans. Does she owe them an apology? Trump is the one who refused to solve that problem. I just wish someone, maybe Bret Baier, could have pushed back and asked her the obvious question. Madam Vice President, who was integral in all of the policies and laws that were put into effect under the Biden administration, was that bill drafted to be rejected so that you could then use it as a campaign tool? Obviously, he killed the bipartisan border bill, allegedly. It was a bullshit border bill, period. But he killed the bipartisan border bill in, what year was it? 2024? 3.5 years into your disastrous immigration policy, which saw a 4-fold increase in illegals crossing, a spike in violent crime, not a decrease in violent crime. She's so lacking introspection, she doesn't put the two together. Oh no, that's not my fault. What happened under my administration? Verbal diarrhea. You got to take responsible for your administration. I saw this clip of Kamala Harris, and it was like one of the, not the first times, but one of the most poignant times where I genuinely just felt bad for this sad, pitiful excuse for a human being. She looks tired. She looks haggard. She is, I don't care. I don't think she's an evil genius. She's an idiot, unintelligent, unskilled human being, period. And she's gotten through life by, playing her assets, pun intended. But I saw this like, oh my goodness, I feel bad for this awful human.
Recent questions about Donald Trump. Once again, there's been a lot of recent questions.
The stress of the situation is eating her alive. She looks haggard from running for president. Give her 4 years of actually killing people abroad. And look what it did to Obama.
Based on an event he did recently. Recent questions about Donald Trump. Once again, there's been a lot of recent questions based on an event he did recently. He played music for about 30 minutes straight.
My grandmother used to hold it. Say, "Oh, David, like, what is this? What is this? Her neck is sore." Okay, he did an event, 30 minutes on stage. Listen to this.
Questions about his mental fitness for office at this point. Do you think Donald Trump needs to take a cognitive test?
Well, I'm going to say what I said publicly and say many times based on my observations of many. Donald Trump is increasingly unstable.
Donald Trump is increasingly unstable. Joy! Compare, cut and contrast her various speeches. And you want to say that thing in the back? You want to talk like that? And you get Donald Trump elected. Oh, I'm here. Thank you for coming here to share your views with me. Increasingly unstable? Holy hell. It's not that we should all look that unstable at his age. We should all only be that stable. He got shot in the head 3 months ago, within a millimeter of death. He's going to say that he looks unstable? Holy hell, there are few people on earth more stable than Donald Trump.
And as has been said by the people who have worked closely with him.
I think we heard this tonight, eh? Milley, General Milley, the lying, treasonous, seditious piece of rubbish.
He was president. He's unfit to be president of the United States.
Unfit to be president of the United States. Because when he was president, it was World War III, invasion of Ukraine, terrorism. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it wasn't. It was peace abroad and prosperity at home. The verge of World War III, increased crime at home. But look at her pathetic, sad face. She knows she has no business being in this position. Her stellar legal career of prosecuting transnational gangs, it's not what you think it is. What did Harmeet say? Should have like 8, 9 cases in a few years? Not very much by anyone's standards, let alone priding yourself on it for the rest of your life. The stories that she's told of how she prosecuted transnational gangs, yada, yada, it's become part of her own lore in her own head. Oh, he's not unfit to be president. Mother effer, you're unfit to be vice president. And she's going to go on Rogan? By the way, appreciate the answers. Trump. Do you owe the family of murdered Americans as a result of illegals who should never have been here, who were not properly vetted under your administration? Do you owe them an apology? Well, Trump didn't vote in that bipartisan border bill, which was actually a Ukrainian aid package in disguise. So it's his fault. Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault that people were murdered because of unvetted illegal immigrants that were let in over the open border over the last 3.5 years at record levels, quadruple, 4-fold what they were before they rescinded the 94 executive orders that kept the border secure, and then blame it on Trump. for not approving or telling telling others to approve an 11th hour disguised foreign aid package to Ukraine. Go to hell, Kamala. The border crisis, it's Trump's fault. The transgender thing. Oh, that was a Trump policy as well. Nobody did it under Trump, and you came out giving an interview to a trans person saying that you were so proud of yourself, Kamala. You were so proud during that interview. Yes, of course I will, because trans people have the right to live with dignity, even if it means going into a woman's prison. This trans madness is going to come to an end very quickly. Men do not belong in women's sports. You want to dress up like a woman. You want to go and do surgery as an adult to cut off your ding-dong and make a neo-vagina that will never be a neo-vagina, that you're going to have to dilate for the rest of your life. You're going to have to go in and clean it out and make sure that the hairs don't get clogged in, because it's still going to grow hair. You want to do that to yourself as an adult? Godspeed. God bless. You go do it. Taxpayers don't foot that bill, and you better make sure that you know exactly what you're doing, because when you wake up and you look down at where your penis used to be, and you see, as I'm quoting the interview that I did with Tulip R. Ritchie, and you look down at what now looks like a doctor went at your groin with a hatchet, you better make sure you know that that's what you want to do for yourself for the rest of your life, and all that entails. And if you want to, and you're of sound mind, God bless. You want to do that to children? That makes you a promoter of child genital mutilation, period. I want to look like a woman. Go ahead. That allows men, and I'm not even saying biological men anymore at this point, men to compete in women's sports. End of story. You think that that's going to allow men to enter women's prisons facility where there has been sexual assault and impregnation in women's facilities? You can go straight to hell. She ain't so happy about that answer anymore now, as you know. Oh, I will abide by the law. Well, that's not what you said during that interview. During that interview, you were talking about taking taxpayer dollars to allow illegal immigrants who are detainees to cut their junk off. You know what others might say that looks like, Kamala? And I would have asked this question. It looks like you support cruel and unusual treatment to illegal detainees who are in vulnerable positions. What the hell was she thinking? I think I can go do an interview on the most adversarial platform, not even an interview, like a discussion, and not be as unhinged, hysterical as her. What we saw tonight from Kamala was unhinged, insecure rage. And she sucks. I mean, pun intended. She's awful. She's an awful candidate. She's the worst candidate they've ever run in the political history. The silver lining, she is going to be the unifying vice president, because she's unifying Democrats around Donald Trump. She's unifying the world around the failed policy of her administration. She's unifying Canadians, for the love of all things that are holy. More Canadians than ever now are supportive of a Trump presidency. Canadian support for Donald Trump higher than in last U.S. presidential election. Survey says more Canadians are signaling their support for U.S. former President Donald Trump. The majority remains hopeful for a Democrat win. Yeah. A recently released survey by Toronto's Institute asked who they would prefer to win. It found that an overwhelming 60% preferred Kamala Harris compared to 21% for... Can you imagine this? Canadians just need to distract themselves from their own misery under Trudeau. However, Trump's popularity has increased 6 percentage points from 2020.